The morning sun had barely crested the horizon when Jace Telmer, the human mechanic, pushed open the hangar doors of Outpost Theta 7. The smell of burnt metal and engine oil clung to his jumpsuit, a comforting scent that made him feel like he was exactly where he belonged. The hangar was quiet, almost eerily so, but Jace liked that. It gave him space to think, to tinker, and to lose himself in the familiar rhythm of repairing starships. He hummed an old Earth tune under his breath as he wandered among the hovering frames of the ships he was working on. That's when he saw her. At first he thought it was a prank, a leftover prop from some long-forgotten Holla film. But no, it was real. A dragon woman lay sprawled across the floor of his hangar, her body draped in shimmering, scale-like skin that caught the first rays of the sun and scattered them into a kaleidoscope of colors across the walls. She was massive, easily 7 feet tall in human terms, with wings tucked carefully around her shoulders, and her long tail coiled around one of the support beams, and she was asleep. JACE froze. This wasn't part of any standard galactic protocol. Dragons weren't common visitors, at least, not in this sector. They were mythical, legendary, the kind of beings humans told stories about in hushed voices around fires. Yet here she was, asleep in his hangar, breathing softly, almost peacefully, as if she belonged nowhere else in the universe but here. "Hello." Jace's voice was tentative, cracking slightly. He stepped closer, his hand instinctively resting on the tool belt at his waist. The dragon woman's ears twitched. Her eyes, a striking violet, blinked open. And when they did, Jace felt as if the world had shifted. It wasn't just her size or her scales, it was the intelligence, the depth, the ancient weight in her gaze that made his knees weak. "Who are you?" he asked, his voice barely above a whisper. I am Kylara," she said, her voice melodic, yet carrying a resonance that seemed to vibrate through the floor beneath him. "I do not know how I came to be here." Jace scratched the back of his neck, trying to ignore the way his heart was hammering. You're a dragon." Kylara's lips quirked into the faintest smile. "Yes, you do not see many of my kind these days, do you?" "No, not really," Jace admitted. He took a step back, unsure if he should call security or some interstellar rescue team. But as he looked at her, the unease that should have gripped him melted into curiosity. You can speak common?" "Yes," she said simply. "And I can understand your species in ways you cannot imagine." Jace blinked. This was getting weirder by the second. And yet, something about her presence, majestic, intimidating, yet vulnerable, made him want to protect her rather than report her. "Listen," he said, taking a deep breath. I don't know how you got in here, but I'm a mechanic. I can help you if you need it, do you?" "Need anything?" Kylara's eyes softened, and for the first time, she seemed small, fragile even. I am injured," she admitted. "I fell through the void near this station. My wing, it is damaged." Jace's heart sank. A dragon, stranded and hurt, in his hangar, and he was the only one there. "Okay," he said firmly, trying to keep his voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through him. "Sit still. I can help. I have experience with damaged frames, wiring, engines. I think I can fix a wing." Her eyebrows rose. "You can fix a dragon wing?" "Not exactly," he admitted, "but I've read enough manuals, and I've patched a lot of things, organic and mechanical." Let me try. Kylara hesitated, then nodded. Very well. Over the next few hours, Jace worked in silence, carefully examining her wing. Unlike any mechanical problem, this was delicate. Living tissue intertwined with muscles and scales that gleamed under the lights. He improvised, using some alloys he had on hand, combined with regenerative gel meant for organic injuries. Kylara watched him quietly, occasionally murmuring questions, but mostly letting him work. As the hours passed, the sun climbed higher, and the hangar filled with a soft golden light. Jace could feel the bond forming between them, not one of romance, not yet, but a connection that defied words. She had trusted him with her body, with her vulnerability, and he felt responsible for her in a way he had never felt for anything living before. When he finally stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow, Kylara flexed her wing. There was a faint metallic sheen where he had reinforced the bones, but it held. She gave a careful flap, testing it, and her violet eyes sparkled. You saved me, she said softly. Jace shrugged, embarrassed. I just did what I could. No, Kylara said, stepping closer. Her voice was gentle, but there was something powerful in it. You did more than that. You saw me, not as a weapon, not as a legend, but as a being who matters. You care. Jace felt heat rise to his face. I guess I do, he admitted. The silence stretched, filled only by the soft hum of the hangar's engines and the occasional flap of Kylara's wings as she tested them. And then, unexpectedly, she leaned down, her head brushing his shoulder. It was a gesture of trust, of gratitude, but also something else, something that made his heart thump like a drum. Kylara began, then stopped, her gaze searching his. I feel connected to you, human. I do not know why, but I think, perhaps I am meant to stay. Jace blinked. Stay here. Yes, she said. With you? If you will have me. It should have been absurd. He was a simple mechanic. She was a dragon, woman, legendary, powerful, terrifying, and beautiful beyond words. And yet, as he looked into her eyes, he realized that none of that mattered. What mattered was that she had chosen him, that she trusted him. I think. Yeah, he said finally, grinning awkwardly. I think I can do that, Kylara smiled then, a full, radiant smile that lit up the hangar. And for the first time in a long while, Jace felt a warmth that had nothing to do with engines or sunlight. Days turned into weeks. Kylara recovered under Jace's care, and their bond deepened. She helped him with repairs, lending her strength and uncanny precision. And in return, Jace taught her about human machines, stories, and music. She laughed at his old Earth songs, but secretly she loved them, and Jace. He could not believe that a being so magnificent could exist and yet choose to be by his side. Word of the dragon woman in Jace's hangar spread quickly through the outpost. Many were skeptical, some fearful, but Kylara's calm dignity and gentle presence won them over. They began to see her not as a threat, but as part of their community. And Jace felt proud, not just because he had helped her, but because he had shown the universe that humans could be more than they seemed compassionate, brave, capable of connection even across species. One evening, as they watched the twin suns set over the hangar, Kylara leaned against him, her scaled arm draped over his shoulder. You saved me, she said, her voice soft. I saved you. Jace asked, surprised. I think you saved me too. Kylara looked up at him, eyes shimmering with unshed tears. Perhaps we saved each other. Jace smiled, resting his head against hers. He could feel her heartbeat, steady and strong. And he knew no matter what the universe threw at them, they would face it together. And in that moment, he realized something he had never expected. A human mechanic and a dragon woman were not so different. Both were capable of courage, of love, and of finding a home. Even in the most unlikely of places, the hangar no longer smelled like oil and burnt metal alone. It smelled of life, of trust, of hope. And for Jace Telmar, that was better than any starship ever built. Because sometimes, the greatest discovery in the universe wasn't a new planet or a rare mineral, it was finding someone who could change your life forever. And Kylara had done exactly that. Asterisk.